Good morning and welcome. Today we're going to talk about daily routines and how small habits shape our lives over time. I'm here with Daniel, who has an interesting perspective on this topic. Daniel, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be here because this is a subject I care deeply about. People often underestimate how powerful daily routines can be in influencing their productivity, mood, and long-term success.
That's interesting. Could you start by describing what your typical day looks like?
Certainly, I usually wake up at around 6 in the morning. I avoid checking my phone immediately because I've noticed that it distracts me and affects my focus. Instead, I spend the first 30 minutes reading or planning my day. After that, I go for a short walk which helps me clear my mind and prepare mentally for the tasks ahead. This simple routine has significantly improved my concentration throughout the day.
Many people struggle with maintaining routines. What motivates you to stay consistent?
For me, consistency comes from understanding the long-term benefits rather than seeking immediate results. When I remind myself that these small actions accumulate over time, it becomes easier to stay disciplined. I also try to make my routine enjoyable rather than strict or exhausting.
Do you think routines affect mental health as well?
Absolutely. A stable routine reduces stress because you don't waste energy deciding what to do next. It creates a sense of control and stability, which is essential for mental well-being.
Have you always followed such an organized routine, or did it develop over time?
It definitely developed over time. In the past, my days were quite unstructured. I would sleep late, wake up tired, and rush through my responsibilities. Eventually, I realized that my lack of structure was the reason I felt constantly overwhelmed.
What was the turning point for you?
The turning point came when I missed an important deadline at work. That experience made me reflect on how I was managing my time. I decided to make gradual changes instead of trying to fix everything at once.
What kind of changes did you make first?
I started with my sleep schedule. Going to bed earlier and waking up at the same time every day made a huge difference. Then I added small habits like planning my tasks the night before and setting realistic goals for each day.
Did you face any difficulties while building these habits?
Yes, especially in the beginning. There were days when I wanted to return to my old habits because they felt more comfortable. However, I reminded myself why I started, and that helped me stay committed.
How did these routines influence your work performance?
They improved my efficiency dramatically. I became more focused and less distracted. I was able to complete tasks faster and with better quality. My colleagues even noticed the difference.
Did it affect your personal life as well?
Yes, in a positive way. I had more free time in the evenings because I managed my day better. I could spend quality time with my family and engage in hobbies without feeling guilty.
Do you think everyone should follow the same type of routine?
Not necessarily. Each person should design a routine that suits their lifestyle and personality. The key is consistency, not perfection.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to build better daily habits?
Start small and be patient with yourself. Don't try to change everything overnight. Choose one or two habits and focus on maintaining them. Over time, you can add more.
Finally, how would you summarize the importance of daily routines?
Daily routines may seem simple, but they have a powerful impact on our lives. They shape our discipline, productivity, and overall well-being. When practiced consistently, they lead to long-term success without requiring dramatic changes.
Daniel, we've talked about how routines improved your daily life, but I'm curious about the long-term effects. Have you noticed any changes over several years?
Yes, the long-term effects have been quite remarkable. Over the years, I've become more disciplined, not only in my work, but in every aspect of my life. I find it easier to set goals and achieve them because I've trained myself to follow consistent patterns. These habits have also strengthened my self-confidence. When you repeatedly keep promises to yourself, you begin to trust your own abilities more.
That's an interesting point, trusting yourself. Could you explain that a bit more?
Of course, many people lose confidence because they often fail to follow through on their plans. For example, they decide to wake up early or exercise regularly, but stop after a few days. This creates a sense of disappointment. However, when you maintain small habits daily, you prove to yourself that you are reliable. That self-trust gradually builds confidence.
Do you think these routines influenced your decision-making skills as well?
Definitely. When your life is organized, your mind becomes clearer. You don't feel overwhelmed by chaos, so you can make better decisions. I've noticed that I think more logically and react more calmly to unexpected situations.
Have people around you been influenced by your lifestyle?
Yes, surprisingly. Some of my friends and colleagues became curious when they saw the positive changes in me. A few of them even adopted similar routines after seeing the results.
For listeners who want practical strategies, what would be the first step to building a strong routine?
The first step is awareness. You need to observe how you currently spend your time. Many people don't realize how much time they waste on unimportant activities. Once you identify this, you can replace those activities with productive habits.
What role does environment play in maintaining routines?
Environment plays a huge role. For instance, if your workspace is clean and organized, you are more likely to focus. If your phone is always nearby, you are more likely to get distracted. Small changes in your surroundings can make a big difference.
What about motivation? People often start with motivation but lose it quickly.
That's true. Motivation is temporary, but discipline is long-lasting. Instead of relying on motivation, people should rely on systems. A system means doing something because it's part of your routine, not because you feel inspired.
Finally, Daniel, how would you encourage someone who feels it's too late to change their habits?
I would tell them that it's never too late. Human beings are capable of change at any age. What matters is the decision to start. Even small improvements today can lead to significant results in the future.
Daniel, after discussing all these aspects of daily routines and habits, what do you think is the main message people should take from this conversation?
I believe the main message is that success is rarely the result of one big action. Instead, it is the outcome of many small actions repeated consistently over time. People often look for dramatic changes or quick results, but real improvement comes from simple habits practiced daily. These habits shape our character, our discipline, and eventually our future.
Why do you think people tend to ignore small habits even though they are so powerful?
Because small habits don't produce immediate visible results. When people don't see quick progress, they assume their efforts are useless. However, habits work quietly in the background. Their impact becomes visible only after weeks or months of consistency.
If someone listens to this conversation and wants to start today, what is the simplest habit they can begin with?
They can start by planning their next day every night before going to sleep. This takes only 5 minutes, but requires them to think about their priorities. That simple act can bring structure and clarity to their day.
And what should they avoid while trying to build new routines?
They should avoid trying to be perfect. Perfection creates pressure, and pressure leads to quitting. It's better to be consistent than perfect.
That's a very practical perspective. Before we finish, do you have any final words for our listeners?
Yes, Remember that your future is built by what you do repeatedly today. If you improve your daily habits, you improve your life without even realizing it. Change doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be consistent.
Thank you, Daniel, for sharing these valuable insights with us today.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening. If you found this conversation helpful for improving your IELTS listening skills, consider subscribing for more advanced and practical English lessons like this.